The fourth England-India test is perfectly poised going into the final day at the Oval. England need 291 more to win after a 77 run, yet unbeaten opening stand between Rory Burns and Haseeb gave England the perfect start to their run chase of 368. Ben, win viz as a draw as a favourite at 45%. India win is at 33, England at 22. I think there's quite a lot more than a 1 in 3 chance that India take 10 wickets tomorrow. How do you see it?
I think I'm pretty happy with those chances from win-viz. I think a draw for me is the most likely. I think the pitch has looked pretty flat. There's been a tiny bit of uneven bounce, but not a huge amount. It's spun a bit, but not as much as it would in India. And they've only got Jadeja, not Ashwin. I think Ashwin would be a real handful on this surface right now. But without him, I would say a draw is the favourite. I mean, England only need just over 3 and over, which isn't a huge ask. But I can see if you lose a couple of wickets and then you have to rebuild, and all of a sudden the rate is then quite high, and then you end up losing, like batting for a bit and then losing more, and that kind of happens again. So I think that I could draw as the favourite, but I think it is going to be a huge, exciting final day, and there will be points through the day where all 3 results seem like the most likely, I think.
Just a word on the pitch, still very flat. I thought England stuck at it pretty well for the majority of the day, with the exception of that stand between Thakur and Pant, and I guess a little bit with Bumrah going crazy at the end. I thought they stuck at it pretty well, and there was almost just they didn't really have a point of difference bowler at any point. They didn't have a Mark Wood, they didn't have a Jofra Archer or a spinner who was spinning the ball both directions. I think the pitch is pretty flat.
Yeah, I guess there was the strange passage when it was Root and Moeen bowling to, was it just after they'd broken the Pant, the core partnership? That felt a bit strange, but for the most part, yeah, they stuck it all right. They got a bit ahead of themselves with the reviews sometimes, and they didn't quite keep cool heads in the field with quite a few run-out chances. There was the big one that was missed by Moeen that could actually end up making quite a big difference. I think if he nails that, England are favourites, but he went for the try at the stumps, and he could have just run in and taken it to Bales or lobbed it to Bairstow, who was running in and could take it off. Obviously, these things happen in an instant, and they get dissected loads of times, and not putting a huge amount of blame on him. But that was just, there will be chances that England will do. I guess from a captaincy point of view, it was just a bit odd that Craig Overton bowled so little. He didn't bowl great yesterday, but bowled reasonably tightly this morning. And just to give the others a break, I think you almost want, when there's a partnership in progress, it feels like you want to just cycle through those bowlers so that almost when you happen to get a breakthrough from somewhere, that's when you can go back to your strike bowlers and they can be reasonably fresh, rather than like Anderson, Woakes, Robinson, that look pretty tired by the end. And I wonder if this is a draw, India will have kind of be more happy with that, because they'll have tied out those 2 for the final test. I don't know if we'll see both of them or either of them even at Old Trafford.
Yeah, Shardul averages 16 in first-class cricket at the bat. How? He's batting India out of a hole twice in this game. Yeah,
I guess today he had some of these conditions of the series, and England had bowled a lot. The pitch was pretty flat. So it can always it makes more sense the runs he scored today. And I guess in the first innings, he was batting in a way where he was either going to get the runs very quickly or get out, and that you can do if you are a batsman. I mean, 16 undersells him. He's a better batsman than that, and I have no idea what the kind of pitch he's playing on is, and I'm not sure how recent that first class sample size is. But I think we've seen it in white ball cricket as well. He is a player who, he's not dissimilar to Sam Curran in a lot of ways, and that he's a cricketer where you look at him and you look at the overall package and wonder how does this guy fit into a national team, and then he seems to affect games. You see him get a lot of wickets in white ball cricket with sort of balls that don't seem too threatening, but he's got a certain amount of game sense and he likes the big moments, I think, and that will make him a valuable cricketer. Whether he can sort of become either a batting or a bowling all-rounder, like a proper one going forward, so he could be a frontline seamer or he could be a frontline batsman, it remains to be seen. But as sort of like a player to fill out an 11 sort of towards the back end of a series, he makes a centre spot a canny pick, I think.
Absolutely. And then just a word on how Hameed and Burns batted in those final 2 hours. I thought that was the most encouraging performance from Hameed since his return. I thought it was more encouraging than his performance in day 1 at Headingley. On that day, I thought he got a lot of bad balls. Whereas today, he was quite busy when India bowled quite well. Yes, it was quite flat, but India bowled quite well. They moved to quite funky fields early on to Hameed, which is, as a batsman, you almost take that as a compliment. and Burns, who can be quite fluid at times, found scoring quite a lot harder than he did today.
Yeah, I think because India bowled all right, and I think the lines were pretty tight. It often went like sort of quite straight, and I think that Hameed enjoyed that, especially when it was sort of full and straight. He was happy to sort of flick those away. But yeah, I think you're right that this was more encouraging than that Headingley innings, and the best he's looked, since he came back into the side. I actually tweeted, this is probably about the angriest you've ever been at me. I tweeted that I was happy to have been here for the first 43% of Hameed's maiden Test 100. Obviously, you thought I jinxed him. I just wanted to have a bit of fun, basically. But yeah, he looked good. Burns looked good. But I also think that India will still think if they can break through that, and then once you get to Root, if you get through him, there will be inroads to be made. There's no one else still has made a big score other than Root this series. England have had a lot of players in this Test and in this series to get to sort of 30 and then get out. So actually, almost these two are at kind of like a danger point in a way. So it will be huge how each of them starts tomorrow, I think.
They had a similar start on day one at Headingley, and both fell reasonably early on day two. So we're both hoping to make sure that doesn't happen again. Anyway, that's all we've got time for today. We'll be back tomorrow to react to what could be a remarkable final day.